Here we're restoring another piece of furniture from the house. This is an old corner shelf assembly. You can see a picture of it here back in the day. So we got it, and we've always had it, so we might as well restore it. It does have some problems. Here you can see in the back the end of the bottom shelf is completely broke away. That can be glued back together without too much trouble. And then on the finials, you can see that they just screw together. The piece just came in pieces, and you just screw the pieces together, but the wood has dried out and shrunk, and the threads no longer hold, so I'm going to have to put a little glue in there to fix that. Okay, step one is to get the worst break fixed. So use the little Tight Bond Ultimate, and we've got the clamps, as you can see. The two clamps holding it down. The big clamp is pulling it together, and we'll let that dry, and that ought to fix the worst part. And maybe at the same time, we've got enough clamps, so we ought to address that and get it so that the unit will then stand up straight, because it had a decided lean. So just like I did for the bottom shelf, I used two clamps to clamp the shelf on the correct plane, and then one big clamp to squeeze it together. And if we swing the camera around and pull back, you can see that with those two breaks glued and clamped together, the corner shelf now stands straight, because before it had a decided lean. Then on each one of these spindles that used to just screw on, we're going to have to add a little bit of glue and tighten it down, maybe clamp it, and that will tighten down each one of the spindles. Yeah, because it just goes around and around, so I think I'm going to have to get it right about there where it's the tightest, and then put a clamp on it, and that should hold it. And my attempt at clamping it looks something like that. You can see it is loose there and loose here. So we'll pull it up, put some glue here, put the clamp on it full length, and tighten it down with a clamp, and that should stiffen it up. And then the absolute last thing to do will be this top piece. It doesn't exactly tighten down the way it should, so we'll put some glue on that and a clamp. And here you can see we've got the top finial clamped. Okay, there it is. It is back straight again. All the glue is hardened, and I wiped most of the dust off it. So what I intend to do now is use Howard's feed and wax along with their 4/0 steel wool and go over it and give it a good finish, and then it'll be ready to be a dust collector. To give you a quick idea of what that Howard feed and wax does, in the back, that has not been touched. In the front, it has. Now I'm applying it with the 4/0 steel wool, and it really brings out the old finish, and it should rejuvenate some of the old dry wood, hopefully.